Like he's one of the ones that are cracking, and that it's in turn making the front office crack because he wouldn't have thought about leaving after last season. Now he's like, I'm out there with fucking James Johnson and Bruce Brembry, and Kyrie's got this fucking random status, and Joe's hurt. Fuck this.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where he's at. Now I don't think he's making a smart decision. Does Philly really offer anything better? I don't think so. But he trusts Morey.
I, me and Sam talked about this in our last pod. Tell me if this is crazy, Matt. I said, if you're James Harden, you only know Sean Marks of this past summer. You know Sean Marks for trading for you, and you're probably saying like, "Damn, like Sean, why'd you trade Jared Allen?" and you know what he got this summer. Sean Marks, this is another thing. Like I don't think people are ready to talk about, and it's okay. You can have a bad summer. It's how you fix it at the trade deadline. But Sean Marks had a bad summer. Is that crazy, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, look, it hasn't. Yeah, I mean, I understand it from Harden's perspective. I think he doesn't have as strong of a leg to stand on because of the shape he came in. But I do agree. Like all these guys have memories of what have you done for me lately. Like it's not about like, oh wow,
No, but I'm not to cut you off, but I'm specifically talking about how you know you can't like disconnect the players from the results. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, he's pissed off, right? And the players are like, we need better players. Jeff Green is gone. This other person's gone. We brought back these other guys. I don't think like even Patty Mills, which I think is a success signing. I think if you're a player evaluating Sean Marks, you're probably wondering like, yo, why can't you do what Daryl used to do? Daryl used to just get us new players every other year to try to win, and they
yeah,
were
I mean,
better role players than this. So I think James might have a bad viewpoint of Sean Marks. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Based off the results.
I would bet. I'm sure there is something to that. I mean, look, the biggest signing of the offseason was Patty Mills, who I think was supposed to be uh, good with, obviously helps with spacing and whatnot. But
Less.
I I also think that the a bigger issue generally is that I think Harden probably I think you're right that I think Harden probably does want more of a say in what's going on, and like he doesn't care about the fact that Marks drafted Levert whenever and Jared Allen wherever and made these moves and whatnot, and he obviously feels comfort with Daryl. At the same time, like I got to be honest, like the bigger thing
But
is I
let me
don't think
put it
Harden would.
simpler. Let me put it simpler so
I
it
was
can
gonna
be.
say I don't think Harden would have these issues with the roster if Kyrie was playing. Like it's all exacerbated by that, right? I mean, like
I
that's
I know, but if let's say he was thinking outside of Kyrie, if you know Sean Marks for getting Javon Carter, Paul Millsap, Bembry, James Johnson is the oldest dude in the NBA. Like he's the same age as LeBron. Like if just I'm trying to be real with myself because at first I didn't want to believe this, but now I'm completely there because I'm trying to figure out why does James Harden want to leave, and if it's not all because of the Kyrie searching, which truthfully it's all boils down to the Kyrie situation.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
um, could it possibly be that he's remembering Maury fondly and he's like, yo, Daryl, like, can we run it back? Like, this shit is crazy. This dude signed Javon Carter. He
I
coming
think
out here
he
with two different sneakers on. The fuck?
I
Get me
I
out of here.
think I think it all starts and ends with Kyrie, only because I've never heard of an NBA player that was playing with superstars but was like, I got to leave because my GM isn't good enough at getting like vet min guys and stuff like that. Like I just think like, look, Harden, if Sean Marks it always boils down to this. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how when Trump said, like, Russia, if you're listening, and everybody was like, wait, what? That was kind of weird. Like when Sean Marks said we expect both those guys to get signed, which is something he never typically says, and then he didn't get signed. Everyone in this group and every Nets fan, all their hair was raised because they were like, wait, Marks never speaks in definites. Marks is never super optimistic outwardly like that. And he just said that, and then it didn't get done, which is super weird because usually when Mark says nothing, you like, all right, it can go either way. But we've never seen him that confident before. And so I think clearly, like, Harden went into training camp thinking like, all right, I'm gonna sign this massive extension, whatever. And then and then this executive order is put upon, and Kyrie clearly, like, maybe they thought he was getting the vax, he's not, and he's like, holy shit, I know how this is gonna go. Like, this is again me and KD, who also gets hurt and whatnot, and a lot of vet min guys and rookies. Like, this is just like, and Joe Harris, obviously, I guess at the point was still healthy, but like, he's like, I don't want to, like, I know what this is gonna be. Like, this means that I'm gonna have to carry the load more. I know that he's probably thinking, I have this reputation of burning out in the playoffs, you know, and I want to conserve myself, and now I can't anymore. And like all that stuff leads up to something. Like, as we've all said in this podcast, and we've said it forever, Harden is the one that doesn't want to be in the circle with Barkley and Malone. Like, that's not what he wants. He knows that he watches NBA TNT. He knows where this can go, and you know, he always says he compares himself to Dwayne Wade having 3 rings and Kobe has 5 and whatnot. Like, he knows
he's not in the conversation if he has 0 jewelry. Like, you don't even consider him. He's a sideshow act.
For Kyrie, it's clearly not that big of a deal. And Kevin's already has his 2, and Kevin is cemented as, you know, one of the 12 or whatever best players,
right,
like 15 players of all time. Harden, like, is like, I have no idea where my legacy is gonna end.
Right. I would hope to think that they still are hungry. It's hard to make someone who is as successful as Kevin Durant to be motivated. Like, he's reached things that are just out of this world, and he's super, super rich. He's getting even richer while he sleeps, and he's a magnificent basketball player. He's gonna be great when he steps on the floor. I just hope that this team doesn't cheat him out of getting a chip. Let's talk about the schedule and get the hell up out of here. I'm gonna go to you, Matt, first, and then Sam, you tell me what you think on this loss. We'll basically democratically tally up the wins and losses, and then we'll talk about what the repercussions are if we lose that many games. All right. The first game coming up, Celtics-Nets. Nets are at home.
Lost because Harden and Kyrie and Durant are not playing.
Oh yeah, It's madness what they got to line up at home without Harden. But you know, Harden isn't hurt. He's not on the injured list or nothing like that. Like, he could literally play. He could show up and play it in that game if he wanted to. You think he plays?
Yeah, but he's not gonna.
So bad. This shit is so bad. Sam, do we have any shot?
If Harden doesn't play, no chance. Even if Harden does play, I mean, Celtics are one of the 3 or 4 hottest teams in basketball right now. I see no way, and I actually think the Celtics, in games like this, I think they see the Nets as, like, you know, hunt versus hunted. I think they're gonna keep losing until, as Bam said at the top of the podcast, until further notice, they're losing games.
Damn it. Yeah, it's an L for me.
And I'll leave it at this. I don't think James is going to get traded because I think that the organization will say we could just do this in the offseason, or they'll gamble that they get these 3 guys back when it matters most.
Hold on. Let's do all these games, and then decide, right? So, Celtics loss. We all agree. The Wizards away. Who thinks we could pull that one off?
Lost because Harden won't. When is that game?
That's Thursday.
Lost because Harden won't be playing.
Not only is that game Thursday, so that game that I will be at that game here in DC. That game is Thursday, happening legitimately hours after the trade deadline. So I made a joke in the spaces. I was like, "Yo, for all we know, there's going to be like 4 people that are able to suit up because you guys know how those games on trade deadline go. Like, there's like 3 guys that are available. I was saying like Craig Randall will get a put on the Excella, will show up on show up here in DC in no time. That's going to be one way or another. That's going to be a bizarre game. I mean, look, the Wizards are also in free fall, and like they're going to make a ton of deals. But I'll say win for that one because Kyrie will play. I think the Wizards just suck, and I think that they're going to have a lot of trades, and there will be a lot of guys missing for them. So I'm going to say win for us that day.
If I knew Harden was playing, I would say yes. I don't think we could win any of these games, but I don't think he's going to be playing. And I think it's on the table for him to be out. But that's an L. That's an L. Yeah, that's an L.
You know what? Fuck this shit. The Nets will always let us down. I'm going inside. I'm going to bed. I love you guys, but this team just...
So we can't...
You guys have a good night.
Bam. Are we losing to the Knicks on the 16th?
100%.
We haven't lost to them in 2 years.
100% we're losing. Good night, guys.
Good night, Matt. Sam.
Yes, sir.
You don't see any of these games before... So the All-Star break, we play the Kings, the Knicks, and the Wizards. You mean to tell me... And we play the Wizards before that. You mean to tell me we can't muster a win with none of those?
No, I think we're gonna beat the Wizards on Thursday. I do think. I think there's gonna be a lot of trades. That game I see us winning. Like, I know that the Wizards have kind of been a house of horrors team where we usually get into these really close games that are ugly, but I think the Wizards are going to have like 4 people active in that game also. Like, there's a chance our friend Dinwiddie's going to be traded again. There's a chance that, they also have a ton of guys. Daniel Gafford was just listed out in the COVID protocol, so they might have a whole COVID thing go through there. So I think we win that game.
You know what? A win could cure a lot of pain right now. These losses, mounting up, is not helping none of the feelings in the locker room. My dude, you got anything else to say?
So your gut, where are we at? So gun to our heads, you say that at 3. I think the trade deadline's at 3:00 Eastern on Thursday. 3:01. Harden is in the city of brotherly love, or he's in the Big Apple.
Harden is in Brooklyn.
That's what I think. Also, I think so. I think so too. Because you know what the thing is? This is the one argument I want to make that I've heard people say. They're like, well, Harden's gonna just keep on. Like, what if Harden just keeps on throwing games? And I was like, dude, like at the end of the day, this guy wants to win a title, and he's not gonna waste a year of his prime sitting out when he's in the middle of a playoff race at this age. Like, this is very different than the Ben Simmons situation. Like, this dude knows that he has maybe a year or 2 left or whatever of his prime. Like, he's gonna play. Like, this idea that he's gonna sit out the rest of the season to me is bonkers.
Is Claxton sitting out because he's on the trade block?
No, I think Claxton's just made of a paper mache.
What a disaster, dude. Like, how did that kid just forego all of the tools that are available to him at HSS? He could have just been on, like, sick nutrition, sick workout schedule, made his body, like, just be able to take more of a pounding than what it can right now. Pause. I'm so disappointed in that kid. He fucked up a lot of money for himself. Like,
yep. By the way, shout out to this guy who I think follows both of us, like Daydreaming, secretary of Nets Dad Club, who commented on. So Kyrie was asked about playing in home games. It said Kyrie remains hopeful that he'll be able to play in home games